All right, I have a confession to share with you guys. Okay, and this is a real confession. This is not a made up story. And for those people who have known me from the age of 20 or even whatever, 30, you'd know what I'm saying is true. And the confession is this: I've always been lazy. I've always been, like they call in Hindi, kamchor. Kamchor means a thief at work. Like if you give work to do, the last thing last thing I would do is want to work. I would, literally someone had to wake me up. Normally it was my girlfriends who were working in the same company or whatever. They would wake me up at rush. We had that time card, or we had to some places scan the finger. After doing that, I would rush back home to sleep, or I would go to one of those nice South Indian, Keralite Muslim restaurants, eat parota, eat chicken fry. I used to eat like crazy. Like people used to wonder what, instead of eating something light for breakfast, you're eating like a heavy lunch. I was into bodybuilding and all that. So I used to eat heavy, very heavy, unhealthy stuff like mutton curry for breakfast. Huh? Just imagine this. And the restaurant guy wouldn't mind. He was like, oh, okay, eat. I'm making money. I would eat chana masala. I would eat, and sometimes I would go to these Pakistani restaurants. Oh, bless them. Paya is hooves. Then magas is brain. I would eat heavy food. And after wasting 1 hour there, then I would go, instead of going to the office, I would go, my house was nearby, my apartment where I stay, bed space or whatever. And there I would sit and watch movies on the computer, or I would, seriously, huh? I would check out which are the movies playing in the theater, or I would check where I could meet my girlfriend. Is she alone at home? Parents are gone. I was young those days. But the last thing I would do is work. The last thing. Nowadays people talk about work life balance. You need to work 8 hours and then take rest hours. Mine, though, was totally flipped. Mine was work 8 minutes, and during office hours, enjoy, have fun, meet the girls, go to restaurants, go to movies. And this, whenever the boss calls, just show your face, and then you'll wonder, like, Loy, how did you achieve your targets and all that? You will not believe. As to use this creative mind to be the best kamchor. Like in Citibank, you have to sell credit cards. I would appoint, just imagine, in my 20s, I would appoint housewives to work for me. I could put free ads in the paper, and I would tell them, for every call, I'll give you some commission, but good customer. And they would work, I would sit at home. And even though maybe I would earn zero end of the month, I didn't mind that, because as long as I was relaxing, enjoying life. So, how did a guy like that, who was a kamchor, who's lazy, how did I end up being so serious? In fact, one of my members, WhatsApp group members, he sent me this message. I'll read it out to you. He said, I've been following you for 1 year. He's an 18-year-old. Okay, he joined last year when he was 17. So this young man says, I've been following you for 1 year. Every day you upload 2 or more videos. Even I can't wake up at the same time. You make these long videos, even if it's not returnable as per time. What keeps you motivated? The question is how from being a bum, being a liability to any company, how did I become this Loy Machedo that you see today? What changed me? In fact, before I do give you the answer, even during school days, I'm telling you, school days, obviously my stepfather, my mother, they were strict. So they would make me wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning because my stepfather had to go to work. So he would wake me up with a stick. I like to hug the pillow and the blanket, and it's warm and AC. And then you'd, if I wouldn't get up, then pull the ear and pull the this and take the blanket, give this stick. So automatically I would wake up. Then you would tell me, go wash your face. I would wash my face. I'm like this. And then you would make me sit in the hall room, which was empty. with the book, which was bloody boring. And then you'd go, to have, and there I would hold the book, and then I was like, okay, my father's not there, and go off to sleep until my stepfather would come back, see me sleeping there again with the stick, and woke up. So, uh, so from and by the way, I was an outstanding student. Outstanding means every class I was kicked out of class because either I never completed my homework or I never. Those days we used to get homework. I don't know if you get homework now. Or I wouldn't study, or I would fail. I was among the failures. Never studied, always failing, never completed the homework, nothing. So, how did I go from that to being this guy? And many youngsters, they definitely ask this question: how do I become more serious in life, focused? And the answer I'll give you is, for me, I don't know about others. For me, one is I found what I love doing. See, to make you understand, when I was asked to study, I never had interest. But when I was asked to give a speech, there's a public speaking competition. Nobody had to tell me, do the research, get the book, go to the library. I'm telling you, the person like me who hated looking at a book, who didn't even open his, in fact, I didn't even know what was in the book. But the minute I got a public speaking competition, I would myself go to the library and bunk classes sometimes and literally order. You're talking of books which are very fine print, which are for mature reading, which are for like historians. Some books are very thick reading. I would just imagine the only book I could read was a comic book. But here, because I loved public speaking, I would take these books and meticulously write down the notes. Okay, those days there was no photocopy machine there, and there was no internet, there was no Google. So you had to do. So I would take around, sometimes seriously, 27, 30 books. 27 to 30 big books. You're talking, I have, if you check my other videos, I have books which are so thick with no, you can see, some of my books here, very, very, I don't know where it is, but it's very thick. No pictures, nothing, just fine print. 27, 30 books. It would take me 1, 2 weeks just taking down notes. And then after having like literally 20, 30 pages of notes, I would read through all of them, and then I would transfer it to from 30 pages to maybe, 4 pages, 5 pages, until I would get a speech of 1 page. Now, who told me this? Guess what? Nobody told me this. Who asked me to do it? Nobody asked me to do it. In fact, I didn't know people did this. I thought this was the smart way to do. So you see, even though studies were there and teachers were there and friends were there and, study groups, even with the interesting book, no, zero interest. But what I love to do, nobody had to tell me. And by luck or whatever, every public speaking competition I would take part. Either I would place, my goal was always first place, but I'd get first or second. And not only that, I would get up at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning and practice until I was exhausted. Nobody taught me this. Can you believe that at this small age, at the age of like 16 or whatever, I used to think, okay, if I stand there, I was asking myself, what should the head do? What should the hands do? What should the legs do? Where should I be looking? I would have these questions, and there was no internet, there was no Google, there was no nothing. And there was no book on public speaking. So I would ask some teachers, and these teachers were like, huh? Where did you get these questions? So you see what I'm trying to make you understand. When you have interest to do something and you're passionate about doing something, Nobody will need to tell you. In fact, I took part into, you can check my previous video where I spoke about being an athlete, where I saw those girls for the first time training. It's a very nice story, a true story. Huh? And for a guy who could never get up at 6 o'clock, once I found those girls and I found the PT sir who wanted to train me, because until it was ninth standard that I met him, until all this time, I was like a blubbery, chubby boy who couldn't even run 20 meters, 30 meters. I was like a joke. From there, I became an actual bronze medalist winner. Then the highest I got was silver medal, which shocked everyone, including my parents, including me. But I trained for 1 year. And for a guy who could not get up at 6 o'clock morning, with an alarm, with the parents, with the stick, I used to get up without an alarm. My stepfather refused to keep an alarm because he didn't want me to go for that training. My mother also said, no, I don't want you to. So what I used to do is, in order to get up, I used to drink, this bottled water. It's Masafi, there's a brand. I would drink 2 bottles just before sleeping, which is not easy to drink, because why I drink so much is by the time I sleep, I would wake up at around 2 or 3 just to go to toilet, and that would be my wake up call. I was determined to go for that training. So the first big principle that I want to tell you is, you need to find out something that you love. You need to find out something that wakes you up in the morning. You need to find out something that will not let you sleep. You need to find something that creates that burning desire that defines your life, that you're ready to live and die by. The competition and the competitive, like public speaking or whatever, I took it so personally that if I didn't get the first place, I would be sobbing and crying, man. I would literally, those days I was religious. I would pray to God day and I would practice literally 20 hours a day, man. That was crazy. People say, oh, how you can speak with, this fluency, or even though your accent is not perfect, you're making videos. 30 years of this dedication to a passion. So the first secret is passion. Fine, you got that. But then, does passion alone drive you? That's the big question. Because if you actually look at life, there are many people who are very passionate, very passionate. Sadly, they get into bad habits: smoking, drinking, drugs, women. There are so many distractions, right? And when you become famous or when you become successful, 1,000%, there's no thousand, but 100%. 100% you will get girls. Girls always have this fascination towards winners. You'll get guys who admire you, so you'll get a bunch of people. And then if you get money, you'll get fake friends who will flatter you. Then obviously the temptation of alcohol. Thankfully, I never had cigarettes. I never had, but nightclubs and fake friends and fake company. So now second question is, even if I had my passion, why am I so focused? Why am I not distracted with girls and other distractions? Now, it's not just that my age has caught up, or because I took steroids, my testosterone or sexual libido is down. No, that's physically, yes, that is a point. But more powerful than this is the reality that it's called fear. Fear of pain, fear of failure, fear of not the, yeah, you can say fear of the unknown, but more than the fear of the unknown, it is the fear of pain that you have been through. And in my case, this is a very honest, sincere confession. I have made so many mistakes. Yeah, when people look at my tattooed face, what the fuck is this? Like, they're like, yeah, who the hell would do this? Yeah, I tattooed myself. It's not something a normal, educated person with proper upbringing would do. It's someone who really is a little, like they say, mental or off the hook, or the upbringing is bad. And I agree to this. I have not kept any secrets. Many people say, "Oh, you look ugly." I tell them, "Tell me something I don't know." People say, uh, "Nobody should tattoo their face like you. You're a bad example." 100%. I agree with you. I mean, it's not normal there. But the thing is, I had ADHD. I was obsessed about things. Maybe it was a personality disorder, being obsessed. I and also because I took steroids and my parents were abusive and the upbringing and the scars of childhood. So I did wanted to prove I was a rebel. But when you make all these mistakes now, and especially when you earn money and you're independent and you have the power, you abuse the powers that you have. And I abused. I was sleeping around with a lot of girls. I was taking steroids. I was going to the gym. I was making a lot of stupid friends. And everything has a price to pay. Steroids, my health got impacted permanently, which the side effects will remain until I die, maybe get even worse. The girls, thankfully, I didn't get any STD at all. The only STD that I got was some allergy or some fungus, whatever. Just took the tablet. And that is also after maybe 16, 17 years of being a playboy. So, lucky for me. Most of the girls in Dubai were always tested year after year, guys and girls. So, thankfully, no STD. But the price to pay was I wasted time, wasted the opportunities, which I could study, grow. I was spending like 6 to 8 hours. I'll never get that back. And then obviously the bad decisions. I was going one time this direction, one time this, one time this, one time this. So, for a person who would go from A to B versus me who's going zigzag and all over, a person would achieve multiple goals. I wasted money, I wasted time, but more than money, more than anything else, time, I'll never get it back. If I was properly guided, just like you, if someone had guided you, I'm pretty sure I would have been multimillionaire many times over. But then again, hindsight is always 22. So I made all these mistakes and I paid the price for it. And, my suicide video that is there on YouTube, that was the biggest price to pay, the biggest, whereby I had no money, no food, no place to stay, no money to even buy coffee, tea. I didn't have hope. My visa was falsely cancelled. I had a fake legal case that my employer, South Indian, Malayali Muslim guy, put in Dubai. I had no hope. I had no direction. I had no friends. I had nothing. And that is where I wanted to kill myself because at the age of 36, you have lost everything. What is there to live for? The thing is, I don't want to go through that day again. I don't want to go through that failure again. It's very scary. I'll tell you, when you have zero bank balance, zero, and you don't have a mother, you don't have a father who will support you, you don't have relatives, you don't have friends, nobody wants to take your call. And you're thrown into a country, okay, country of origin, India, but you don't know anybody there and you don't know anything. I'd never been in India, hardly for more than few days or weeks at a time. And now I'm there and I just have the backpack and nothing else. Where do I go? Who do I meet? What do I go and say? Where will I get a job? Especially looking like this. So I was wondering, do I have the strength to start from zero? And that also, I don't know how. I've never been in this situation. I have to sleep, just imagine, sleep on the footpath. I have to sleep on a bench. And the fear, someone will rob me because I look like a foreigner. So I don't want to be in that situation where there's no money, where I have to beg others. See, when you have money, when you have success, fame, everybody wants to kiss your ass. Everyone wants a part of the action because you're beneficial to them. Like right now, I have this YouTube channel. I have certain skills of personal branding, contacts, connections in UAE. So people are like, oh, he's a useful contact. Keep in touch with him. He has good content. He can guide me. But if I was useless, didn't have, nobody would care. So that fear keeps me focused. And on top of that, I have a wife whom I have to take care of, whose responsibility I have accepted. And I have a baby who's going to take care of both. I live in a foreign country, Thailand. It's not my own. If I don't have money, they'll throw me out. I don't have my mother and father, stepfather, they are alive, but my stepbrother is taking care of them. They can't take care of me. None of my relatives I trust. They'll never take care of me. So, me as a grown adult, where do I go? Begging? So, that is what keeps me focused. That is what makes me make these videos. And even if I was speaking to one client yesterday, even if I get, and this has happened, I get a $10,000 client. He pays me $10,000. My target per day is $500. Let's say I got the $10,000 transferred to my bank. Am I going to take a holiday? Am I going to relax? Am I going to tell my wife, 2, 3 days, no need video? You know what I do? This is heart of hearts, I'm telling you. I keep the $10,000 in the savings. My current, whatever account I have, I keep it as it is. I act like it's zero. And when I get up the next day, I tell myself, okay, would I have zero in the bank account? I have to earn. Why? Because expenses. I act as if that 10,000 doesn't exist. And I focus on earning for today. So I have zero earnings, but my expense meter is running. I have to earn. I have to feed my wife. I have to feed my baby. I have to feed myself. I need money for petrol. I need money for electricity, water. I need to save end of the month. That's it. When you reach that pivotal point in your life, nobody needs to wake you up in the morning. Nobody needs to remind you to go to work. Nobody needs to tell you work hard. Nobody needs to tell you do what you need to do. So that is why even if, I once had, I think, 6 hours non-stop talking, 6 hours with the clients, bunch of clients. And it's exhausting. One client is tiring. Two is terrible. Three is though a Herculean task. But at six, and literally 12 hours, more than 12 hours got spent. I was so exhausted, I couldn't even keep my head because I'd put that intensity and I didn't complete my videos. What I did, since I could not work, I told my wife I'm very tired, very exhausted. She understood. I ate a little food, went to sleep because anyway, I can't work, I can't do anything. And after I woke up, after my head was cleared, I reminded myself I'm supposed to put 3 videos per day. Those 3 I have not done. And today is a new day. I have to make 3 videos, totally 6. So my target was I have to complete those 6 other videos. And finally, the last bit that guy asked, why you're still putting videos even if the return on investment is not there. We are all looking, we content creators, we are all looking for the elusive viral content that will go the millions and millions. If you're Mr. Beast, you can put a video in less than half an hour, it'll cross maybe 30 million. I shared a screenshot with my members of the group, Mr. Beast with Ronaldo. I think in 36 minutes, he crossed 30 million or 33 million views. He has easily made $100,000 in half an hour. Every video of his goes $100,000. So I'm nothing like him, not even 0.9001% like him. But even if I did get a viral video, I'd continue working like this. Why? Because right now I have these hands, I have these legs, I have this health, I have eyes, I have ears, I have the cognitive function. I don't know what will happen after a few years. This is, they say, make hay when the sun shines. This is the time for me to earn, to make a living, to provide for the family. Maybe one day I'll be paralyzed. Maybe one day I'll be irrelevant. Maybe people will be bored of me. This is what happens with superstars, celebrities, singers. So I need to make hay when the sun shines. And that is why, no matter what, my daily quota will be there. Even if it's just one video, I will make it. Because in the end, I know I've built a repository. And as long as I follow YouTube guidelines, that videos will always be there. And that adds value to my brand and my future. So I hope this answers your question. I'll just summarize it by giving you the two key points. Number one, passion. Find out what wakes you up in the morning. Find out what you'd love to do for free, even if you don't get paid. Even if I get zero money from YouTube, I'll still continue making YouTube videos. This is my passion. And number two, fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of the pain that I went through. Once you get these two, you'll automatically. Nobody has to wake you up. Nobody has to remind you, do your videos. Nobody has to give you a target. You'll do it all automatically. So I hope this answers your question. Let me know your thoughts and comments down in the comment section below. Anyway, 18-year-old, thanks for the topic. I hope this answers your question. You guys take care. This is me signing off.